The alien queen gazed at my wound in shock. This shouldn't be possible. The stars stretched endlessly above the small human research station on the remote planet of Naria 7. The station floated quietly, almost like a lone sentinel in the darkness, its lights blinking steadily against the void. Commander Aaron Cade leaned against the railing of the observation deck, staring at the strange green and purple hues of the planet below. It was a world that no human had mapped before, filled with towering crystal-like formations and forests that shimmered in the faint light of the distant sun. "Commander!" a voice called from behind him. Lieutenant Mara Jin approached, her scanner in hand, scanning the air with nervous energy. "Sensors are picking up something moving." Aaron straightened, his eyes narrowing. "Moving? What kind of movement?" "Life forms. They're large, intelligent." "Not like anything we've ever seen." Aaron's pulse quickened. This was why they were here. Humanity had crossed the edges of known space in search of new life, new worlds, and perhaps new understanding, yet every step into the unknown carried risk. They were explorers, yes, but also small and fragile compared to the worlds they now touched. "Prepare the suits," Aaron ordered. "We're going down. Carefully and stay alert. This planet doesn't welcome visitors." The landing pod pierced the dense atmosphere, shaking as it cut through the thick clouds. When the doors opened, the team stepped out into a landscape that seemed alive. Trees made of crystalline veins stretched toward the sky, glowing faintly with energy that hummed in the air. The ground was soft, almost sponge-like, with bioluminescent moss that reacted to their steps. "Stay close," Aaron instructed. His team, 4 soldiers, 2 scientists, and a communications officer, followed him, eyes wide in awe and tension. From the shadows, something moved. It was fast, almost imperceptible, and then it revealed itself. A creature unlike anything humans had seen, tall and muscular, with chitinous skin that shimmered in shifting shades of violet and blue. Its eyes glowed gold, intelligent and calculating. The creature didn't attack immediately, instead it observed. Aaron raised his hand slowly. "We come in peace," he said, though his voice carried an edge of caution. The creature tilted its head and more figures emerged, identical in appearance. They moved silently, encircling the humans, their presence commanding and terrifying at once. Then, from behind them, the tallest, most imposing figure appeared. Her crown-like head crest and flowing armored limbs marked her as the leader, the alien queen. Aaron froze for a moment, studying her. The stories from other explorers were often exaggerated, but this was real. Her gaze was sharp, piercing, and filled with an intelligence that made every human instinct tell him to retreat. But he didn't. Retreat was not humanity's way. One of the Zythurians spoke, her voice resonant and almost musical, though the translator struggled to match the tone. "Humans, you are far from your place. Why do you trespass?" Aaron met her gaze. "We are explorers seeking knowledge and understanding. We mean no harm." The queen's eyes narrowed. She raised one arm and a soft hum emanated from her body. The air seemed to vibrate with energy. "No harm," she repeated. "You carry weapons. You move as if you intend to dominate." Aaron shook his head. "We carry tools for protection. We seek only knowledge and to survive." For a tense moment, nothing moved. The Zythurians studied the humans, their expressions unreadable. Then, without warning, one of the lesser Zythurians attacked. It was a blur of motion, faster than the human eye could follow, striking Mara with a weapon that burned with light. She fell back, screaming, her armor smoking where the energy struck. "Fire!" Aaron shouted. His team responded, weapons discharging, but they knew their technology was primitive compared to the aliens. The humans dodged and countered as best they could, relying not on strength, but on coordination, quick thinking, and the environment around them. Aaron himself was hit. The Zythurian weapon cut across his arm, a deep burn that should have immobilized him. Pain shot through his body, but he gritted his teeth and focused. He pressed a small medical injector against the wound, releasing nanobots designed for rapid repair. Within moments, the flesh knitted itself back together, leaving only a faint scar. The alien queen stepped forward, her golden eyes widening. She whispered almost to herself, This shouldn't be possible." The humans seized the moment of hesitation. Aaron directed his team to push forward, using clever maneuvers and environmental traps. They weren't stronger, they weren't faster, but they adapted, using tools and creativity in ways the aliens hadn't anticipated. For the first time, the Zythurians seemed uncertain. The skirmish ended with the humans retreating to a safer distance. No one had been killed, but the message was clear. Humans were not ordinary. The queen remained, observing them from a distance, her mind racing. She had never seen creatures heal so quickly, react so unpredictably, or fight with such cunning. Back at the landing pod, Aaron tended to his team, checking each member for injuries. Mara sat quietly, still shaken but alive. "Commander," she said softly, how did you survive that?" Aaron looked at his own arm, flexing it gently. "I don't know. Something about being human, maybe it's stubbornness, maybe it's resilience. Whatever it is, it's enough." The team gathered around the small holomap of the planet. Patterns of energy readings from the Zythurians, movements glowed softly in blue and purple. Aaron studied them closely. "They're organized, advanced, and highly intelligent, but they haven't seen everything we can do yet. We'll need to be careful, but we also have something they don't expect, our unpredictability, our ingenuity." Night fell over the alien forest, stars twinkling above like distant fires. Aaron stood again on the observation deck of the pod, looking down at the forest that hid the queen and her people. He felt a mixture of awe and determination. Humanity was small and fragile, but it was clever, adaptable, and fearless in ways the universe hadn't yet understood. And somewhere in the shadows, the alien queen contemplated the humans she had dismissed too quickly. Her warriors returned slowly, bringing reports of wounds that healed too fast, strategies that couldn't be predicted, and a bravery that defied her expectations. She studied Aaron's figure in the distance, noticing the faint scar on his arm that had already begun to disappear. "Impossible," she murmured. "This should not be possible." But humans were proving otherwise. The humans returned to their small base on Naria 7, exhausted but alert. The forest outside the protective dome whispered with alien life, its glowing plants pulsing faintly as if aware of the intruders. Commander Aaron Cade watched the shadows, aware that the alien queen and her warriors were observing from somewhere beyond the tree line. Humanity had survived the first encounter, but this planet, and its inhabitants, had made it clear that survival alone would not be enough. "Commander," Lieutenant Mara Jin said, breaking the silence, "our sensors indicate that the Queen is sending out patrols now. They're searching for us, maybe trying to understand what we are." Aaron nodded. "Good, let them look. Every time they observe us, they learn something. Every time we move, they're reminded that humans are not simple prey." The team began analyzing the data they had gathered during the initial encounter. The aliens' movements were precise, almost mathematical, but patterns emerged, patterns the humans could exploit. "Doctor." Leora Van, the lead scientist, pointed at the holographic map. "Commander, these readings suggest that the Queen's warriors are not merely patrolling. They're studying us. They seem fascinated by the rate of our recovery." "Look at this." She highlighted Aaron's wound from the skirmish, showing the rapid regeneration. "We healed far faster than their technology predicted. Whatever human biology is capable of, it's extraordinary to them." Aaron's eyes narrowed. "Good. Then they fear us, but they don't understand us. That gives us the edge." The next morning, the humans set out on a cautious exploration mission. Their goal was not just survival, but understanding. The planet itself seemed alive in a subtle way, its bioluminescent plants reacting to their movements. The forests were thick with colors that no human had names for, and the air carried a faint electric charge. Every step was a test, every sound amplified by the alien environment. Suddenly, movement shimmered in the distance. The Zythurians had returned. A group of elite warriors emerged from the shadows, their eyes fixed on the humans, but instead of attacking, they observed. Aaron raised his hand slowly. "Keep calm, don't provoke them." The aliens moved closer, their bodies tense but not hostile. The Queen remained hidden, watching. Aaron noticed the careful calculations in their movement. They were learning, anticipating, trying to read human behavior. Dr. Van whispered, "They're trying to understand strategy. They think in patterns. They expect us to follow patterns too." Aaron smiled faintly. "Then let's break their expectations." As the humans advanced, they used the forest itself to their advantage. Low-hanging crystalline branches were tripped over in specific ways to create small distractions, and the soft, glowing moss was disturbed to mislead the Zythurians' sensors. The humans were small and fragile, but they were unpredictable, moving in ways the aliens could not anticipate. The Queen observed from a ridge above, her golden eyes widening. The humans' ability to adapt to the environment, to use their minds instead of relying on strength, fascinated her. She had faced countless species in her rule, each one defeated by her intelligence and power. But humans were different. Hours passed in careful maneuvering, neither side striking. Then Aaron noticed something unusual, a series of ruins partially buried in the bioluminescent forest. They were old, covered in crystalline vines, but their structure was unmistakably artificial. "Doctor." "Van, what do you make of this?" Aaron asked. She stepped forward, brushing away some of the glowing moss. "These ruins, they predate any known civilization on this planet. There are markings here that resemble early human symbols. This doesn't make sense. How could humans from another planet entirely share symbols with a civilization that existed here millennia ago?" Aaron felt a chill. If there were connections between humans and this world, they were far older than anyone had imagined. He traced the markings with his finger, feeling a strange resonance, almost as if the symbols were alive. The Zythurians had followed them silently, keeping a careful distance. The Queen observed the humans touching the ruins, her mind racing. Could it be that these humans were not just resilient? They were part of something larger, something ancient. Suddenly, a low rumble shook the ground. A hidden trap had been triggered, one of the ruins' mechanisms, dormant for centuries, now reacting to movement. The forest around them shifted as crystalline spikes shot up from the ground. "Move, move!" Aaron shouted. The humans ran, leaping and dodging, relying on quick thinking and agility. The Zythurians, unprepared for such chaotic movements, hesitated. For the first time, the Queen saw her warriors struggle to adapt. They were precise, controlled, and powerful, but rigid. Humans thrived in chaos. Aaron grabbed a small detonator and triggered a controlled collapse of part of the ruins, blocking the spikes and forcing a narrow escape path. His team followed, breathless but unharmed. For a moment, they were safe. The Queen descended from the ridge, her gaze fixed on Aaron. "Such adaptability," she muttered, almost in awe. Her translators rendered her words, but the subtle respect in her tone was clear. "Humans are not as simple as they appear." That night, the humans camped near a shallow stream, reflecting on the day's events. They had survived, gathered valuable data, and uncovered a mystery older than humanity itself. Aaron looked around at his team, proud but cautious. "We are small," he said, "but we are clever. That is our advantage. The Queen and her warriors are strong, yes, but they cannot predict us. Not fully. We must use that. We must continue to explore, to learn, and to survive." Dr. Van nodded. "And perhaps this connection to the ruins holds the key. There is more to humans than we realize, even to ourselves." The next morning, the Zythurians approached again, this time in a different formation. They surrounded a clearing, their movements coordinated but slower than before. It was clear they had studied the humans' patterns from the previous day. They were adapting. Aaron studied them carefully. "They're learning, that's dangerous, but we can learn from them too. Observe, adapt, and improvise, that's humanity's strength." The humans moved deliberately into the clearing. They knew the Zythurians expected them to flee or to attack predictably. Instead, Aaron signaled for the team to split, weaving in patterns that seemed random. The Zythurians hesitated, their calculations failing as the humans improvised continuously. Aaron himself moved toward a ridge, pretending to be careless. One of the Zythurians lunged, striking with a weapon of energy. Aaron caught it with a makeshift shield, the energy searing his arm. Pain surged, but he activated a nanobot injector, sealing the wound within seconds. The Queen watched in disbelief. This was the moment that had shaken her the most. Humans surviving what should have been fatal, and not merely surviving, but adapting instantly. The humans regrouped on the other side of the clearing, their hearts racing, but smiles breaking through exhaustion. They had survived yet again. The Queen stepped closer, her curiosity piqued. She had seen countless species, countless victories and defeats, but humans defied expectations at every turn. That night, as the humans rested, Aaron reflected on the Queen's words recorded by the portable translator. This shouldn't be possible. He thought about it. Perhaps it shouldn't be. Humans were fragile, small, and inexperienced in the vast cosmos, and yet they persisted. They healed, they learned, they improvised. They survived in ways no alien intelligence could anticipate. And the Queen, powerful and ancient, could not yet comprehend the strength of the human spirit. As the stars twinkled above Naria 7, Aaron felt both the weight of their mission and the thrill of the challenge ahead. The planet was dangerous, the aliens formidable, and the mysteries ancient. Yet humanity had a chance, not just to survive, but to thrive. The humans had shown their value, and now the universe had noticed. Somewhere in the shadows, the Queen contemplated the humans' resilience and adaptability. Her respect grew, along with a realization that this species, so small, so fragile, so human, was unlike anything she had ever encountered. And so, the first chapter of humanity's encounter with the Zythurians came to a close, with humans alive, curious, and defiant, while the alien queen's thoughts churned in astonishment. The battle was not over. It had only just begun. The morning sun rose over Naria 7, casting long, shifting shadows through the crystalline trees. The human team stirred in their makeshift camp, their eyes alert to every movement in the alien forest. Commander Aaron Cade surveyed the horizon, sensing the subtle hum of the planet beneath their feet, a living pulse that made even the air feel charged. The previous days had revealed the Zythurians' intelligence, their precision, and most importantly, the alien queen's growing fascination with humanity. But fascination alone was not enough to guarantee safety. "Commander," Mara Jin whispered as she adjusted her scanner, "I've picked up unusual energy readings. They're different from the ones we saw near the ruins." Aaron leaned over her shoulder, studying the readings. The energy was erratic, fluctuating in ways that suggested life forms, but with an intelligence that seemed beyond any simple predator. "This planet has many secrets," he said softly. "We need to find out what we're dealing with before we stumble into danger we can't handle, Doctor." Leora Van nodded. "These fluctuations might be connected to the ruins. If the ruins are ancient, the energy could be a form of communication or a defense mechanism left behind by a civilization long gone." Aaron tightened his jaw. "Then we proceed carefully, but we go. We can't just wait here. Curiosity is part of being human. It's why we survive." As the team moved deeper into the forest, they noticed that the environment itself seemed to respond to their presence. Leaves shimmered with greater intensity as they passed, and small creatures darted between trees, observing but not attacking. It was as if the planet was aware of them, testing them in subtle ways. Without warning, a low hum filled the air. The humans froze. From the shadows, a group of Zythurian scouts emerged, their movements deliberate, almost ceremonial. They carried instruments that seemed to scan not only the humans but the surrounding forest. The Queen was not present, but Aaron could sense her influence. Her attention had not left them since the first encounter. One of the scouts stepped forward, raising an arm in a neutral gesture. Through the translator, her voice sounded calm, precise, and almost curious. "Humans. You survive where others perish. You manipulate your environment with strategy and innovation. Why do you resist?" Aaron stepped forward cautiously, keeping his hands visible. "Because survival is instinct and adaptation is what makes us human. We do not resist for pride or defiance. We resist because it is who we are." The Zythurians observed silently, their eyes flickering with analytical light. Then, as if recognizing that words alone could not convey understanding, the humans continued their exploration. Hours passed as they navigated a maze of crystalline formations and glowing moss. Finally, they reached the ruins they had discovered earlier. Here, the markings were more pronounced, etched deeply into the walls of massive stone structures. Some of the symbols resembled early human writing, simple lines and curves, yet arranged in patterns that suggested advanced thought. Dr. Van's voice was barely audible as she traced the symbols. "This civilization, it might have known humans or something like them. Perhaps our ancestors traveled farther than we know, leaving traces that time preserved here." Aaron studied the walls, feeling the weight of history pressing upon them. If humans have a connection to this planet, it could explain some things. Why our biology surprises them, why we survive in situations they think impossible. As he spoke, the ground trembled slightly. Small cracks appeared along the ruins' surface, glowing faintly as if responding to the humans' presence. The team stepped back instinctively, ready for danger, but instead of attack, a soft vibration filled the air. The ruins were communicating, not with sound but with energy that resonated through the forest, subtle yet undeniable. Suddenly, a shadow moved overhead. The alien queen had descended, her golden eyes fixed on the humans from a ridge above. Her presence was imposing, yet she made no immediate move to strike. She was here not to fight but to observe, to understand this species that defied all expectation. You touch the remnants of a past you do not understand, she said, her voice carrying effortlessly across the clearing. And yet you survive where others fail. How can this be? Aaron did not falter. We are human. Our survival is not always logical. We rely on instinct, on ingenuity, on the will to keep going even when the odds are against us. Perhaps that is what you do not understand. The Queen's gaze sharpened. She studied him with an intensity that was almost physical. It was rare for any being to meet her eyes without fear. Aaron met her gaze without flinching. In that moment, he realized that the true test was not of strength or technology, it was a test of spirit. For hours, the humans explored the ruins under the watchful eye of the Queen. They discovered chambers with mechanisms that hummed faintly, as if powered by the very energy of the planet. Aaron touched one, and it reacted, opening a passageway to a lower level. Inside, walls were lined with symbols and murals depicting creatures resembling humans interacting with beings that looked like the Zythurians. Dr. Van's breath caught. These murals, they show cooperation. They show humans working with this species, or one like it. This is incredible. The Queen stepped into the chamber, her presence commanding yet restrained. You do not know what you awaken, she said. Her voice carried a note of caution, perhaps even respect. Your kind touches the past, and yet your actions ripple into the future. You are remarkable. Aaron studied her carefully. We do not seek power, we seek understanding, we survive. That is all we can do. The Queen tilted her head, processing the statement. It was unusual for a species to act with purpose beyond aggression or submission. Humans were not predictable. They were not purely logical or entirely emotional. They were complex. A sudden tremor shook the chamber. Energy pulsed through the floor as hidden mechanisms activated. Crystalline structures shifted, revealing a central pedestal with a glowing artifact. It was small, spherical, and radiated a warmth that seemed almost alive. Aaron approached cautiously. This could be a source of knowledge or a key to understanding this planet's past. The Queen's eyes narrowed. It is not for you to take lightly. This artifact holds the memory of my people and those who came before. It is ancient, powerful, and dangerous. Aaron nodded. We do not seek to wield it recklessly, we seek to learn. For a tense moment, silence filled the chamber. Then, without warning, a surge of energy erupted from the artifact. It was not hostile, but it coursed through the room, brushing against the humans and the Queen alike. Aaron felt a strange sensation, his mind clearer, sharper, as if the artifact recognized his species. The Queen recoiled slightly. It reacts to you, it should not. Aaron stepped closer, extending a hand toward the glowing sphere. Why shouldn't it? Perhaps humans are meant to survive, to adapt, to connect with things no other species can. Perhaps that is why we are here. The artifact pulsed once more, then stabilized, allowing Aaron to study it safely. Symbols appeared within it, shifting and rearranging, almost as if communicating. Dr. Van's voice trembled with excitement. It's a repository of knowledge, ancient knowledge. It's showing us history, technology, maybe even the evolution of life on this planet. The Queen watched, her expression unreadable. For the first time, she seemed uncertain. This species, small and fragile, had the ability to access knowledge and survive in ways she could not comprehend. Humanity was proving itself extraordinary, and the Queen could not dismiss it. Hours later, the humans returned to the surface, carefully carrying the artifact in a containment unit. The forest around them seemed quieter, as if the planet itself acknowledged their actions. The Queen remained behind, observing, her thoughts a whirl of curiosity and caution. "Commander Aaron," Mara whispered as they walked back to camp, "do you think they'll attack us next?" Aaron shook his head. "I don't know, they are intelligent. They will watch, wait, and try to understand us. The Queen respects survival, but she also respects ingenuity. We've shown both. That may be enough for now." That night, as humans rested in their dome, Aaron could not sleep. His mind kept returning to the Queen, the ruins, and the artifact. Humanity had survived impossible odds, adapted to threats that should have ended them, and even gained knowledge that could change their understanding of the universe. Yet, the danger was far from over. Somewhere in the shadows, the alien Queen contemplated the humans' actions. She had faced countless species, but few had sparked curiosity, and fewer still had earned respect without proving their strength through violence. Humans were unpredictable, clever, and resilient. They challenged her understanding of survival and power. and for the first time, she wondered if she had underestimated this species entirely. The stars over Nyria 7 twinkled silently, a backdrop to the unfolding story. Humans were small, fragile, and new to this part of the galaxy. Yet they moved with purpose, with intelligence, and with a resilience that no alien species had anticipated. The Queen retreated to her hidden domain, her mind racing. She had questions now, questions she could not ignore. And humans, unaware of the full impact they had made, continued to explore, to survive, and to defy expectations. The first steps had been taken, but the path ahead promised greater challenges, deeper mysteries, and encounters that would test humanity's ingenuity and courage to the limits. Yet one thing was certain: humans were not like the others. They were remarkable. And the Queen would never forget it. The forest of Nyria 7 was quiet that morning, but the calm was misleading. The humans had grown accustomed to the subtle threats around them, yet each day held new challenges. Commander Aaron Cade led his team carefully along a narrow crystalline ridge, the glowing moss beneath their boots illuminating the path like faint stars. Their objective was the artifact they had discovered in the ruins, still contained in a portable unit. Doctor. Leora Van believed it held more knowledge than they could yet comprehend, and every step they took seemed to draw the attention of the alien queen and her warriors. Mara Jin scanned the surroundings continuously. Commander, sensors indicate movement ahead. The Queen's forces are monitoring us, but they aren't approaching directly. It's like they're waiting. Aaron's jaw tightened. They've learned patience. We've seen it in the ruins and the energy readings. That's dangerous, but we've survived this far because we think beyond what they expect. The team pressed on, moving in formation. The ridge opened into a wide clearing where the remnants of an ancient city lay half-buried beneath glowing vegetation. The structures were enormous, made of crystal and stone, etched with the same symbols found in the ruins. It was clear this place had once been a center of civilization, long forgotten. Dr. Van's eyes widened. This is incredible. The ruins we found earlier were just a fraction of what's here. The energy readings are strongest near the central plaza. The artifact may respond more if we are there. Aaron nodded. Then that's where we go, but stay alert. Every step we take is being watched. The humans advanced carefully, using the terrain for cover. Small creatures, delicate yet intelligent, scuttled through the alien plants, observing them. It was as if the entire environment was alive, aware of their presence. The air pulsed faintly, vibrating in a way that suggested energy flows beneath the surface. Suddenly, the ground trembled beneath their feet. Crystalline spikes shot up from the surrounding ground, forming walls that trapped the humans in the plaza. Mara barely leapt aside in time as one spike struck the ground where she had stood seconds before. Aaron cursed under his breath. They're testing us again. The Queen doesn't just observe, she sets challenges to see how we react. The humans spread out, moving with precision and improvisation. They didn't panic. Instead, they scanned the spikes, noted the patterns, and identified weak points. Using small explosive charges and careful timing, they disabled sections of the spikes, opening a path forward. It was not brute strength, but intelligence and teamwork that allowed them to advance. The central plaza was massive. At its center stood a pedestal much larger than the one in the ruins. The artifact pulsed faintly atop it, its light steady but vibrant. Aaron approached slowly, aware that every movement was being analyzed. The Queen's presence was felt before she appeared, a weight of intelligence and authority pressing against the humans' awareness. "You approach with caution," her voice resonated across the clearing. "Yet you move with confidence. Such traits are rare. Why do you not fear what should destroy you?" Aaron stopped and turned to face her. "Fear does not stop humans. We respect danger, yes, but we do not let it control us. Survival is not about avoiding risk. It's about understanding it, learning from it, and acting." The Queen's golden eyes narrowed. She studied him with a mixture of fascination and caution. "You are unlike any species I have encountered. Others would have fallen already. Others would have surrendered or fought blindly. You adapt." Aaron's team gathered around him, their eyes meeting his for reassurance. "We are human," he said simply. "That is our strength: adaptability, creativity, resilience. These are traits no weapon or strategy can fully counter." The Queen stepped closer, her armored limbs moving gracefully. "And yet you are fragile. Your bodies should not withstand what you endure. Your minds should not grasp what you seek." Aaron smiled faintly. Perhaps that is why we endure. Humans are not perfect, but we are persistent. We survive where others fail. As he spoke, the artifact pulsed, responding to his presence. Symbols shifted on its surface, forming patterns that seemed almost alive. Doctor. Van moved closer, her excitement barely contained. Commander, it's reacting to you directly. The energy readings are off the charts. It's like it recognizes human presence as something compatible. The Queen recoiled slightly. It reacts to you? That should not be possible. Humans do not possess the traits necessary to interface with this technology, yet it responds as if expecting you. Aaron approached the artifact, hand extended but cautious. He felt a subtle warmth as the symbols shifted beneath his touch. Knowledge, vast and ancient, seemed to flow into his mind. Images of civilizations, beings that resembled both humans and Zythurians, and histories of cooperation and conflict filled his consciousness. It was overwhelming, yet comprehensible in fragments. This is incredible, Dr. Van whispered. The artifact contains the memory of a civilization that existed here long before the Zythurians, and somehow it is attuned to humans. The Queen stepped closer, her expression unreadable. You were never meant to touch this. It holds power and understanding that should be beyond your reach. And yet here you stand. Perhaps I have underestimated your kind entirely. Aaron straightened, looking her in the eye. We do not seek power, we seek understanding. That is how we survive, how we adapt, and how we thrive. The Queen paused, studying him, and then gestured toward her warriors. They stepped back, giving space, their movements cautious. The humans had proven themselves capable of reasoning, of strategy, and of understanding consequences. That, the Queen realized, was far more valuable than raw strength. Hours passed as the humans examined the artifact, translating symbols and understanding fragments of the ancient civilization. The energy pulsed gently, responding to their curiosity and intellect. It was not just a tool, it was a teacher sharing knowledge with those capable of understanding it. Then the ground trembled violently. A hidden mechanism activated, and the plaza's crystalline structures shifted, forming walls and barriers that threatened to trap the humans again. Mara shouted a warning, and the team moved instinctively, dodging rising spikes and falling debris. Aaron coordinated their movements, using signals and quick commands to ensure no one was caught. It was a test, and they were passing, not with brute force, but with intelligence, improvisation, and teamwork. The humans were proving once again that survival depended on more than strength, it depended on mind and spirit. The Queen observed from her vantage point, her golden eyes narrowed. She had studied countless species, but few had demonstrated the combination of traits humans displayed. Resilience, intelligence, adaptability, and moral understanding. It was unsettling and fascinating. Finally, the mechanism settled, leaving the humans safe at the center of the plaza. Aaron placed the artifact in its containment unit and signaled the team to move back toward the ridge. The Queen followed at a distance, silent but attentive. As they walked, Mara glanced at him. Commander, why do you think it responds to us? Why humans? Aaron considered the question. Because humans are designed to survive in ways others aren't. Our bodies heal, our minds adapt, and our spirit drives us to keep going. Perhaps the artifact recognizes what we already are, resilient, curious, and unyielding. The forest around them shimmered in the fading light of the day. Every plant, every creature seemed to hum with energy, as if acknowledging the humans' presence and efforts. The planet was alive, vast, and full of mysteries, yet it had allowed humans to survive, to explore, and to learn. That night, as they camped safely within the protective dome, Aaron reflected on the events of the day. Humanity had faced impossible odds, adapted to challenges no other species could, and accessed knowledge that even the alien Queen could not anticipate. The Queen herself had shown restraint, observing rather than attacking, showing that even in power, respect could be earned. Dr. Van studied the artifact again. This knowledge, it's a gift, but it's also a responsibility. Humans have the capacity to use it wisely or foolishly. We must be careful. Aaron nodded. We've survived so far because we respect the challenges we face, because we work together, and because we think. That will not change. We'll continue learning, adapting, and surviving. That is what makes us human. In the shadows beyond the forest, the alien Queen returned to her hidden domain. She contemplated the humans' actions, their courage, and their intelligence. They were unlike any species she had encountered. Their unpredictability, their ability to adapt to chaos, and their resilience made them remarkable. She realized that strength alone did not define a species. Spirit, ingenuity, and courage were equally important. The stars over Nyria 7 shone brightly, a reminder of the vast universe and the challenges yet to come. Humanity had survived, had learned, and had impressed even the most powerful being on the planet. Yet the journey was far from over. Greater challenges, unknown threats, and deeper mysteries awaited them. But one truth had become clear: humans were special. They were resilient, clever, and unstoppable in ways the universe had not anticipated. And the alien queen knew that the story of humanity on Nyria 7 was only just beginning. The air over Nyria 7 was tense as the human team prepared for what they knew would be the ultimate challenge. The alien queen had been silent for days, observing, calculating, and testing from afar. Every movement of the humans had been analyzed, every tactic scrutinized. Yet Aaron Cade knew that survival was never guaranteed. The humans had survived the forest's dangers, outwitted the Zythurians, warriors, and accessed knowledge from ancient artifacts. Now the final trial awaited, one that would determine not only their fate but perhaps the perception of humanity in the galaxy. "Commander," Mara Jin said, her voice steady despite the unease, "our sensors indicate a massive energy buildup near the central city. Whatever the Queen is planning, it's enormous. If it's weaponized, it could destroy everything." Aaron studied the readings carefully. The energy source was enormous, far beyond anything they had encountered. It pulsed with intensity, radiating across the valley, and the pattern suggested controlled release. "Then we must stop it, not with brute force," he said, "but with intelligence, strategy, and teamwork. Humans survive because we adapt, and this will be no different." Dr. Leora Van examined the artifact, now safely contained but still radiating subtle energy. "Commander, the artifact may help. It responded to us before. It could interact with this energy buildup, perhaps even neutralize it." Aaron nodded. "Then we proceed carefully. Stay close, but trust in your training and instincts. We've survived every obstacle because we think beyond what is expected. That is humanity's strength." The team moved toward the central city, where the energy readings were highest. The ruins were immense, crystalline towers stretching into the sky, pulsing with the collected energy of the planet. The path was fraught with dangers: rising crystalline spikes, shifting terrain, and the subtle but constant hum of alien power. Every step required calculation, observation, and courage. Suddenly, the ground shook violently. A massive burst of energy radiated from the city's center. Aaron and his team were thrown off balance but remained on their feet. The Queen appeared above the central tower, her golden eyes focused, her presence both imposing and analytical. "You have reached the threshold," she said, her voice resonating across the city. "This energy is my ultimate weapon, designed to protect this planet from invaders and threats. You are small, fragile, yet you persist. Why do you not succumb to fear?" Aaron stepped forward, his gaze unwavering. "Fear does not guide us. Understanding does. Adaptation does. Humanity survives because we learn, we improvise, and we act with purpose. That is why we continue." The Queen studied him, her expression a mixture of curiosity and respect. She gestured to the energy array, and it pulsed more intensely, as if challenging them. "Then prove your worth. Survive this, and you may leave with your knowledge intact. Fail, and your species will become another memory." Aaron signaled to his team, and they began their careful approach. The energy waves were immense, distorting the air and sending ripples through the ground. Each pulse threatened to crush, burn, or immobilize. Yet the humans moved with precision, observing the patterns, finding safe paths, and communicating silently with gestures and signals. Dr. Van held the artifact, feeling it resonate with the energy around them. "Commander, it's responding. It can channel the energy, but only if we synchronize with it. We need to move together as one." Aaron nodded. "Then we act together. Remember, it's not force that saves us. It's intelligence, teamwork, and courage." The humans activated the artifact, holding it steady as the energy pulses grew stronger. The artifact absorbed and reflected the energy in subtle ways, stabilizing the waves just enough for the humans to advance. The Queen observed closely, noting their precision, their calm under pressure, and their ability to adapt in real time. One of the energy surges struck Aaron directly, burning through his suit and leaving a wound across his shoulder. He gritted his teeth and activated the nanobot injector. The wound healed rapidly, leaving only a faint mark. The Queen's eyes widened. "Impossible," she whispered. This should not happen." Aaron ignored her words, focusing instead on the task. Every movement, every adjustment, and every decision had to be exact. The humans coordinated, each step synchronized with the artifact, channeling the energy safely. It was a test of intelligence, resilience, and unity, and humanity was proving itself capable beyond the Queen's expectations. Finally, they reached the central control of the energy array. Aaron studied the mechanisms, understanding the alien design not through brute force but through logic and observation. "We need to redirect the energy," he said. "Not destroy it, just stabilize it. If we fail, it could collapse the city or worse." Mara and Dr. Van assisted, adjusting controls, stabilizing channels, and carefully guiding the artifact's resonance with the system. The energy pulses became steady, predictable, and finally safe. The hum of the city's energy array shifted from threatening to harmonious, resonating with the artifact's power. The Queen descended, her expression calm but reflective. "You have succeeded," she said. "Not with strength, not with weapons, but with intellect, courage, and cooperation. Humanity is remarkable." Aaron wiped sweat from his brow, exhaustion evident but pride shining in his eyes. "We survived not because we are the strongest, but because we think, adapt, and act together. That is what humans do." The Queen studied him for a long moment. "You have proven more than survival. You have demonstrated wisdom, courage, and morality. I have underestimated your species, and for that, I will not make the same mistake again." A subtle shift occurred in the forest and city. The energy waves that had threatened destruction now flowed gently through the ruins, as if acknowledging the humans' victory. The Queen stepped back, allowing them to leave safely. As the humans prepared to return to their base, Aaron reflected on the events. Humanity had survived impossible odds, outwitted the alien Queen's expectations, and accessed knowledge beyond their own understanding. They had demonstrated the qualities that made them unique: adaptability, intelligence, courage, and unity. Mara smiled at him. "Commander, we did it. We survived. We actually did it." Aaron nodded, looking back at the ruins one last time. "We did more than survive. We proved that humans can thrive, even where others fail. We've earned respect not through destruction, but through understanding and resilience." Dr. Van added, "And we've learned so much. The artifact, the ruins, the energy array, it's all connected to the history of this planet. Humans now carry knowledge that may change our understanding of life itself." As the team returned to their base, the Queen watched from her hidden domain. She had observed countless species, but few had left such a profound impression. Humans were clever, resilient, and capable of understanding and adapting in ways no other species had. She realized that the strength of a species was not measured solely by power or technology, but by spirit, intelligence, and courage. The humans reached their base safely, exhausted but victorious. They had survived the tests of the forest, the ruins, and the energy array. They had faced a species far stronger, more advanced, and yet emerged alive, respected, and wiser. That night, as stars glittered over Naria 7, Aaron stood on the observation deck, looking out at the alien forest below. He felt a sense of pride and hope. Humanity had proven itself once again, not through domination or aggression, but through resilience, ingenuity, and the courage to act. The Queen's voice echoed in his memory. This should not be possible." Aaron smiled faintly. Perhaps it shouldn't be possible. Humans were small, fragile, and inexperienced in the vast cosmos. Yet they had survived, adapted, and thrived. They had demonstrated that the universe had underestimated them, and that underestimation would be humanity's advantage. The forest pulsed gently below, alive with energy and life, acknowledging the humans' triumph. The Queen remained silent, thoughtful, and respectful. She had learned that strength alone did not define a species. Resilience, intelligence, and courage were equally, if not more, important. In that moment, humanity's place in the galaxy was secured, not through conquest or fear, but through the qualities that made them unique. The humans had survived, learned, and earned a reputation that would echo beyond Naria 7. And somewhere in the shadows, the alien Queen watched, knowing that the story of humanity had only just begun, and that these small, fragile beings had already proven themselves extraordinary. The stars above twinkled silently, witnesses to humanity's courage, ingenuity, and the spark that made them unstoppable. The universe had underestimated them once, but never again. Humans had survived. Humans had thrived. And humans would continue to do so, wherever the stars led them.